All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy hump day once more. This is a Wednesday that I did this on. So, as you can see, there's more and more women leaving the workforce. But how is that to be in this struggling economy? But see, you have to remember it's easier for women to make money in the most sleaziest ways. And all I'm going to say right here is the oldest profession is the most common profession. You can take that any way you want. But let's indulge into the clip. CBS News style.
Now to a concerning trend in the labor force. The exodus of women in the workplace is rising at an alarming rate. Take a look at data from the most recent jobs report. It shows 212,000 women aged 20 and over have left the workforce since the start of this year.
That's a lot of women that left the workforce. But see, it starts from age 20, but they didn't cap it. They're not talking about the boomers. So I'm assuming it goes from age 20 to about age 35. Peak market value. Oh yeah, we're taking it there.
While men of the same age have added 44,000 workers. Alana Samuels is a senior correspondent for Time who is writing about this, and she joins us now with more. Good morning, Alana. So why are so many women leaving the workplace?
Right. So we saw during the pandemic a lot of women actually entering the workforce. And now we're seeing a lot of strict return to office policies. And a lot of families are deciding they just can't pull that off. The other thing that's going on is daycare is getting really difficult because of the end of some pandemic subsidies. And so a lot of families are looking around and saying, I can't afford this. And one of the parents is going to have to drop out, and it's often the woman.
About that, I work with people to where the husband stays at home with kids while the mom works 2 jobs. Yeah, it's crazy, right? But that's where it's getting to, because I mean, childcare is like another mortgage or rent payment. It's not cheap. So if you want to start this legacy and family, y'all gonna have to make an agreement for one of y'all to stay home and take care of them kids. And as we all know, most people are weirdos. So there's going to be a lot of freaky shit going on in them daycares.
I have always heard, my friends with children complain and gasp at the cost of childcare. Can you just help me understand how much that does cost? Because there are some long-term impacts to women with young children leaving the workforce.
Right. So in a lot of states, I think it's about 33 states, it's actually more than college tuition. It really ranges. I think Washington, D.C., it's about $18,000 a year for 2 children. As I said, there used to be pandemic subsidies, and those would have actually continued.
So the impacts for women, of course, is going to be different for men, just like the last video. So it's limit to career growth, fewer workers, reduced spending and savings, gender disparities in the workplace, re-entry challenges. So it's kind of just like when you quit school and then you try to go back 15, 20 years later. It's going to be harder for you to get your mind right, to get your mind focused, to focus on school. So what do these women do once they leave the workforce? If they're as young as 20, you already know. Because if, let's say, you're decent looking, we have social media, and most women do pretty good on social media, even as to make money. But if you take it a step further, OnlyFans, Pornhub, all that shit, erotic dancing, adultery, it just goes on and on and on and on. But then that's going to play out eventually too. That's not a long-term solution. There's no happy ending in that. But a lot of women are doing this on the side, even if they do have a decent career. It's extra money and it's non-taxable income that they can make.
Under the Build Back Better Act, but that did not pass. And so it's getting really expensive. And at the same time, you have childcare workers on, Medicaid or food stamps. So it's getting really expensive for families, and there's just not really a solution on the horizon.
And it's alarming to some too, because we're now seeing increased gender disparities in the workforce. And this report comes out as the president's trying to combat a declining birth rate in the US. So how do these issues correlate?
Right. So I think a lot of women are having to decide over their careers or having children. Some might decide to drop out of the workforce and have children. And some might decide, you know what, I want to put my career first, or my family can't afford to survive on one income. One interesting thing is they actually looked at the pandemic childcare subsidies, and they actually earned some money back because women were entering the workforce, and that was coming back to the government in the form of taxes. So it's not great for our economy for a lot of people, especially women, to drop out of the workforce. That means families have less income to spend. And so, rather than encouraging families to expand while people can pursue these careers, these return to office and end of childcare subsidy policies are really doing the opposite.
Okay, so here's the thing. So these work at home jobs, I don't know how the overtime works, but there's not a whole lot of hours in this work from home thing. It's like, how long are you going to sit in front of that computer? It's like you're going to have blood clots develop. It's not healthy to sit in front of a screen for 8 hours. Like, you have to get up and move around at some point. But then this doesn't work for everybody. Let's say you do have your kids at home with you. You have distractions. So you're working, everything is at home. A lot of you guys are in your pajamas, your coffee mug, Zoom meetings. It's like, how effective is it on the mental toll versus actually being physical and driving to the office? To me, I'd rather drive to the office. Just so now I can get away from home and I'm not in the same, I'm not cooped up in the house all day. Like, I want to have a reason to leave the house other than going to some event,
It's a fascinating data point and issue happening for so many people. Folks should read your Time article. It's really interesting. Alana Samuels, thanks for joining us this morning. Great to see you.
Yeah, so that's the big choice. The kids or your career. Don't think you're going to be the parent of the year and then be the shit at work too. A lot of times that fails because, people need to work more than 40 hours a week to survive if they don't have 2 jobs. So if you're trying to really be productive and make more money, that's more time away from your family, which is going to cause a lot of disputes in a relationship. This is Kylie Veo. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.